because has been doing a lot of kicking today. And yet again finds some grass in front of Daniel Katerega, who is forced behind his goal line into his in-goal area and returns it with interest. Rams this time having the advantage in the kicking game. Edrin Obo to his winger. And then now Juan Khalid looking for that chip chase, but he sends it right and straight into touch.
That kick chase did not make any sense at all. Rams had possession. Buffaloes were on the back foot. They were backpedaling. Then he kicked on the blind side where there was no room at all, kicked it straight out to touch, handed Buffaloes possession, has slowed down the game and has given Buffaloes a chance to regroup. Rams needs to do a lot better than that. They need to keep the ball in hand, not try out any of the fancy stuff. At the moment, they do not have the players on pitch to do anything fancy. So let them do the basics, keep the ball in hand, recycle, let their forwards carry the ball. Their forwards are a match for the Buffaloes forwards. There's no mismatch here. The packs are about the same size. Buffaloes line out not straight, and so Rams have the scrum put in.
An interesting bit that I was told just before kickoff is that the Buffaloes have an all-female technical bench today, led by Aggie and Aaron, their team manager. So that's it's a bit of a, could say, thumbs up, but then also a call to more women to step up and take up some of these roles, so we can see more of them, especially not just in the women's game but also in the men's game, because for sure we have some really experienced and talented women to take up those roles. But kudos, thumbs up to the Buffaloes for this gesture on the International Women's Day. And I've also been told that the previous games and some other games on the other grounds were managed by all women match officials, especially the earlier one here at noon between the Intangas and the Box that had national 7s and 15s international, Asha Nachichio and then Fatuma as well, running assistant referee duties. And then the usual in Sauda Adiru and Rosenberg Kanyonyuzi, of course, taking up center referee roles at the other venues in today's matches. The wind has picked up some speed in the game today, and the Buffaloes have stepped up the aggression at the breakdown. Odoch Morgan forcing that error on the 8th man, and the recovering defenders penalized for illegal entry at that ruck in an attempt to secure the ball. Buffaloes yet again knocking at the Rams territory. They have entered the 22. They've entered their half with a line out just between the 22 and the 10-meter territory. Oh, that came off the foot and into the path of Philip Aita, who automatically would have found himself in an accidental offside position. The Buffaloes yet again making a mess of that free possession that they won at the turnover. Hashim Kabogoza going straight into touch in goal. And what do the Rams opt for? What do the Buffaloes opt for? 22-meter drop or a scrum right at the point where he kicked from. 0 net gain from the Rams. The two teams unable to capitalize on their opponent's mistakes here.
Yeah, both teams are, I think, a bit too eager, and they're going for the offloads instead of patiently setting up the phases and running the ball through their hands. I mean, Buffaloes have got an excellent backline. They've got great hands, and so they should be more patient and more clinical in their passing, while Rams thrives off broken play. and they're good at finding gaps in defense where there shouldn't be. But both teams need to settle down. At the moment, they're not settled at all.
Douglas Musoke trying to wrestle his way to the ground. He loses that ball to Juan Khalid. Juan Khalid was tackled strong by Odoch Morgan, the junior Oketayot, a pair of brothers who are known for some really hard tackles in Ugandan rugby. Daniel Katerega yet again leaving the ball to bounce in front of him. But he gathers and gives it to Liam Walker, who sends it into the air. Now Rams have the advantage with ball in hand. Hashim Kabogoza, that's a smart kick. Oh, but the angle still not good enough, and it has gone into touch in goal. You can see all hands pointing towards the point where he kicked from. That would have been a very beautiful 50-22 kick.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it looked like it was angled, right? It was an excellent kick, just outside of the halfway line. So it wouldn't have been a 50-22, but still it would have been a line out for the Buffaloes on the 5, and they've been struggling with their line out. So that would have been an opportunity for Rams to turn over the ball and score the first points of the game. But right now the teams are going into a water break, but the game will be restarted by scrum, with a scrum put in for Buffaloes where that ball was kicked from.
Still 0-0 with about 20 minutes on the clock and a whole hour left to play. The water break across the pitch. And Kenneth Obito, Juan Khalid alone here, yet to join his teammates. Water taken. Intermediate instructions delivered, and the whistle is blown to get us back underway in the second half, in the second section of the first half after this water break. And a scrum penalty for angling goes to the hands of the Rams. Emojong on that tap and go to the back and lost. yet again, it's the two teams, as we were mentioning earlier, not able to capitalize on their mistakes. Rams just got a penalty off the scrum, and a few seconds later, they've committed a handling error, and then an offside major infringement to hand the possession back into the hands of the Buffaloes. It's a 5-man line out for the Buffaloes. Just at the 22-meter line, goes straight to Solomon Agani, who has been held up by the Rams. They are known for this tactic, and in some cases deploying some of their dark arts that never go noticed but are surely felt by their opponents. They've turned over the ball, the Rams. Brian Wandera to the boot, splits the backfield, and Levis Ochen will be looking to stop that ball from bouncing into touch. He just does that. Levis Ochen held up again, this time over 30 meters away from where the kick was made. The Rams chasing like a pack of hyenas. They've managed to turn over the ball again. Back to the backs, Chibirige cutting and going. He's found some space. The big man is running. Liam Walker. Oh, head-on collision. Liam Walker looks to be in a concerning state at the moment. Kibirige just went all in on the number 10. Liam Walker looking for some space behind the try line. And now it's in the hands of the Bucks. Is it try time for the Rams? Yes, it is. First try of the game on the break from the Rams. First points of the game immediately after this water break, and they lead by 5 points to 0.
Yeah, I mean, that was very simple play by Rams. Once they stuck to the basics, they had their big ball carrier taking the ball in, some phases being played, and then the ball just being played out wide. Simple passes, and then it was a very easy try for the winger to score. It was very brave of Liam Walker to stand in front of what would seem to be a freight train bearing down on him, and unfortunately he seems to have been injured, so he's behind the try line receiving attention in goal at the moment, as the kick is being lined up by Rams to try and get the 2 extra points. Buffaloes has enjoyed the lion's share of possession this game, but just like Rams, they've not been able to retain possession when it's counted, and they've been losing possession, and the Rams in this case made good of the possession that they had to score 5 points, and the conversion was missed, and right now the home side is ahead by 5 points to 0. Liam Walker is back up on his feet and ready to take part further in the game.
Strong statement of interest from the Rams after this water break. They had been feeling the pump of the pressure, and the very first time that they went into the Buffaloes' red zone, they've come out with points. Especially that heavy carry from Emmanuel Chibirige on Liam Walker. Root Moja, our neighbors in the east call it. Kenneth Okong, has he tapped that ball and lost it forward on the kick receipt? Yes, he has. The team, usually we get to say this quite a lot, that the team is most vulnerable after they've scored. And Kenneth Okong, perhaps, I wonder why, every time it's well known that the team is most vulnerable after they've scored, but then the team still go ahead to take their eyes off the ball on the kick receipt.
Yeah, it's just that the adrenaline is still pumping through the body. There's the high after scoring the try, and sometimes that the points being scored against you sometimes jogs the losing team into like some sort of awareness, and they have this hunger and aggression to get back into the game. And Buffaloes has kind of been playing around in the Rams 22, not scoring the points when they should have. So perhaps this is the wake-up call that they needed, and Buffaloes is never a team that you write down. Mongas can testify to that.
The Rams seem to have found medicine for the Buffaloes. The Mulago doctors holding up and turning over possession. Yet again, it's the third time it has happened every time they've attempted it. And that's what led up to the first try. After that kick that had Levis Ochen struggling to keep the ball in play, and then he's held up, and then it's turned over. And then that break from Emmanuel Kibirige, it was try time again. The Buffaloes have found themselves in that situation, carrying it into contact. Douglas Musoke, he tries to stay on his feet, but perhaps the solution today would be once you get that contact on the deck immediately, so that you're better off trying to secure the ruck than trying to win back position when you've been held up.
Yeah, after the first few carries of the game, Douglas Musoke found himself being double tackled often. So he has 2 or 3 players teaming up to take him down, and in this case, to hold him up. They know the danger that he presents, and so Rams are not giving him any room at all to trouble them.
No room at all to trouble them. And the entire pack as a whole, as they have won that scrum penalty for angling, the Buffaloes, too eager, especially on that side with Jimmy Katumba, too eager to get the action underway. And they've been penalized for angling. To the front it goes. But the referee says that ball's not straight. Scrum feed for the Buffaloes. The last time we had a scrum feed, Douglas Musoke was held up. Perhaps this time there will be a change of plans from this set piece. And you can see there in the background a shot of the Buffaloes technical area has come and has relaxed, but the pressure is slowly building up. On the grass to the left is Captain Wilfred Seguya, who's returned to play, is slowly being worked upon. He will get some minutes today, certainly. It's Liam Walker this time going for that chip and chase. And he tackles Joseph Ayuma a bit too high. And now the Rams can get to work. Another high tackle from the Buffaloes. Would like to apologize for that mistake in the names, a mix-up of the names. The player who made that strong carry for the Rams in the lead up to that try is Jude Kakara, and then that very last carry where the Rams have got that penalty advantage is the Emmanuel Kibirige. So apologies to Jude for not giving him his flowers in that moment of brilliant rugby playing. Rams have opted to go for points, and it's Kenneth Obito's attempt yet again, and it is just wide and just short into the hands of Douglas Musoke. The Buffaloes maintain possession. Liam Walker in the pocket. He'll be looking for that exit kick. It is not able to find touch, not fielded well. but it lands into the path of Kenneth Okong, and he sends Liam Walker flying, and then Philip Aita. What a carry from the blindside winger. Emma Ochan not able to meet the requirements that have been set by Kenneth Okong. And now Douglas Musoke into the 22. He's isolated but brought down by the retreating defense. The Buffaloes are playing quick ball. Odoch Morgan calling for it. Daniel Katerega on his feet. Odoch Morgan chooses to go alone and then returns some favor for the Buffaloes. Quick ball. Should have sent that ball out with numbers on the outside. Solomon Agani, tip on pass to Gerard Sewankambo. Try time for the Buffaloes. What a response.
Wow. What end-to-end stuff. First we had the Rams going for some big hits. And then Douglas Musoke getting the ball in hand, returning the favor. That was first a brilliant long run by him, swatting Rams would-be defenders out of his way before eventually being brought down from behind. And then Odoch Morgan returning the favor, revenging what was done to his teammates. And then finally, Buffaloes getting the ball to Gerald Sewankambo, otherwise known as Kasoto, to dot down quite close to the post. This should be an easy kick for Liam Walker, judging by the kicks that he's made in the past. And if he nails this, then Buffaloes will be ahead by 2 points.
He'll need to summon all his energy after that heavy hit. But Liam Walker was one of the top scorers last season. Although this time it looked like it had sailed wide, but the flags have gone up to signal the 7 points. There is some displeasure and disagreement from the fans, but let's take another look at it. That was close. In my view, and I think Helen agrees with me, that ball did not sail through the uprights. But the sole judges of fact and truth are on the pitch. And despite the disagreements from the Rams captain and his assistant captain that the ball did not go through, the score is going to stand, and the Buffaloes will now take the lead at 5 points to the Rams and 7 in their bag.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we cannot resort to the TMO. It was a very close kick. It looked like it was headed straight for between the posts. But then the wind seems to have carried it just a bit to the left of the post. It's a tough decision for the ARs to make without the benefit of a replay. At the end of the day, the referee has called the 2 points. So Buffaloes lead by 2 points. So Rams 5, Buffaloes 7. Right now there's a brief stoppage as a Rams player receives medical attention.
Let's take a look at that Kenneth Okong carry again. First onto Liam Walker. And then to Philip Aita. Looked like he was leading with his elbow there. And then the other one on the other end of the pitch, Douglas Musoke on the break. He's isolated, looking for options. Has the Rams defense closing in on him. Fends off the first man with Eric Tolit, the captain, in support, but does not use him. And after that, it was one-way traffic for the Buffaloes. One-way traffic from that point. First, Odoch Morgan. He has numbers on the outside. You can see Katerega calling for that ball, but Odoch Morgan chooses to just carry it himself. And what a hit that was. And from there on, as Odoch Morgan paid back some debts, it was try time for the Buffaloes. And then some bit of controversy as the extra 2 were awarded for the Buffaloes to lead by 7 points to 5. Restart kick has gone straight into touch. And so the Buffaloes have opted for a scrum down at the halfway mark. It's a lot of work that's going to be put in by these tight forwards today. A number of handling errors, a number of close calls and big hits. It's going to be a long 40 or so minutes today for both teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when playing and the forwards decide to keep the ball, they usually say, you backs are going to knock it on anyway, and then we are going to have to scrum it, so let's keep it. If we knock it on, it's our own fault and we'll clean up, but we're tired of cleaning up your mess. So, so yeah, it's a long day, it's a hot day, and lots of scrummages so far. And both scrums have been evenly matched, you would say. So there's no dominance of one over the other. And right now, Buffaloes have the ball in hand and looking to attack and add on to their tally.
No advantage gained as the Rams were getting that turnover ball. But the number 8 penalized for unbinding early. Yeah, I felt that's where the advantage was initially. Jude Kakara found himself already in front of Douglas Musoke when he picked up that ball. Easy penalty for the Buffaloes to take advantage of. And Daniel Katerega will be sending it into touch just past the 10-meter territory. Liam Walker surely will be needing some medical attention. The temperature and tempo of this game has been a tough one for him. A heavy tackle that he had been forced to make on Jude Kakara, and then that heavy hit he received from Kenneth Okong seemed to have completely emptied his battery that was supposed to last probably 80 minutes in this game today.
Yeah, he's been unlucky that he's been on the receiving end of some really big hits. And we saw a bit earlier that he seemed to have switched roles, moved to fullback, while Katerega had moved to fly half. And we see Liam Walker being helped off the pitch at the moment. He is unable to continue the game.
That's Dr. Samura Kijuma, a favorite of the Uganda Sevens. He's been their team doctor for a year. And the Buffaloes have made a change, bringing on Captain Wilfred Seguya, which will force a couple of changes for the Buffaloes. Daniel Katerega slotting into the number 10 position, and Wilfred Seguya playing at fullback in number 15. Good line out into the hands of Solomon Agani, and a very good awareness from Teko Joseph to get that ball away as the Rams adopted not to contest at that maul. Odoch Morgan, this time he passes to Daniel Katerega, and now the midfield. Levis Ochen looking for work across the playing field. The Buffaloes in possession. Ripped backwards and then regathered. Odoch Morgan, he likes to carry. This time he puts his feet to the floor, his knees to the floor, so he will need to be released. Katerega doing well in that number 10 position to Douglas Musoke beyond the gain line. That's a beautiful carry. And now Odoch Morgan, fending off Ochan Fred and still going. But he's being held up. The Buffaloes seeming not to learn from their mistakes earlier, and it's been turned over by Jude Kakara. Big man is running past the halfway line, and what a turnover from Solomon Agani. He knows how to find himself in such positions, just running support, and once the tackle has been made, quickly on his feet, stays on managing his body weight and wins that possession.
Yeah, that was a very timely turnover by Solomon Agani. And again, as you said, Buffaloes have not learned not to go upright into contact into the Rams players, because they will hold you up. And if they do not win a scrum from that resulting holding up, then they rip the ball away and they play, and they'll find a disjointed defense, and then they punish you. And that's how they scored their earlier try. So Buffaloes has Solomon Agani to thank for them still being in the lead with 2 points.
Kenneth Okong attempting to replicate that heavy carry on Liam Walker, but he has lost that ball in contact, so the Buffaloes have the advantage. Ball to Philip Ita, beautiful tip-on pass to go beyond the gain line. Serun Georgie Paul now getting busy and looking for the work. Douglas Musoke on that short ball, twisting and turning and then finding the deck. And then that attempted offload to Katerega is lost forward, but they had the advantage, the Buffaloes. It has been a tough counter, but you saw that signal and eye contact between Daniel Katerega and his coach across the pitch. Onen Charles, he will be going for points in this one. He's gone for touch. A bit of a change of instructions there, I should say.
Yeah, I think Buffalo's blood is up. They're pumping and they feel that they can secure this lineout. They won their previous lineout, so that's probably given them a bit of confidence. And with 7 points on board, they feel they can add to that. And perhaps with Liam Walker off the pitch, they're not feeling confident about their next choice kicker. It was a tough angle, so they've opted for the lineout.
And Solomon Agani manages to just keep the ball on the side of the Buffaloes. It rolls just in front of Aaron Atoke, who goes just past the gain line. Yet again, the Buffaloes, this time they manage to fight and find the deck. Katerega, the backs have formed, long pass out wide to Douglas Musoke, offloading it to the midfield. And now Levis Ochen at the wing. What a tackle by Hashim Kabogoza, forcing that handling error, and the Buffaloes had the advantage. There's protest from the Rams that the advantage should have run out. But that's good refereeing from James Biaruhanga to take note of that offside at that breakdown. A tap and go penalty for the Buffaloes. Serun Georgie Paul, and he's over. That's a front row forwards try. Quick tap. And then over that body positioning, is able to find that space under the defense and extends Buffalo's lead.
Smart decision by Rams not to go for the lineout. The previous lineout was a bit dodgy, so they went for the tap penalty. And here it is, a combined forwards try. Actually, a combined front row forward try, as you said. And so that takes them to 12 points, and that will surely get their tails up. And Rams need to respond right now at this moment, because if they allow Buffaloes to score again, then Buffaloes might run away with it. But so Rams needs to score again to get back into the game and make their home crowd happy.
As the clock ticks towards halfway, Rams need to save themselves just a bit before they go into the break, as it's probably going to be a different story after halftime. The conversion this time sails wide of the upright, so the score will stay at 12.25. Serun Georgie Paul, a replacement for Joseph Cafero at the front row. Cafero Robert, rather, at the front row. An early change that must have been forced by injury, as James Biaruhanga makes his calls clear to the Rams captain. They've been found to toy really closely with the limits of the regulations of the game. And in as much as they are trying to find that limit, it's hurting them and giving away free possession and free points to their visitors today. Hashim Kabogoza on kicking duties, represented Uganda last year at the Under-20 Bates Trophy in the midfield. He's playing number 10 today in the absence of another Under-20 international in... That looked like a hit on the shoulder. Shoulder to the head on Douglas Musoke. And he stays on the floor, a bit stunned, I should say. Hashim Kabogos are playing that role in the absence of Hosanna Opileni, who has been rested today, given that the action will resume in the second round. Oh, Hosanna Opileni is with national team sevens. And what an inside pass to Emma Odong, and the Buffaloes now are attacking broken play, offload to Gerard Sewankambo. Now Wilfred Segui has first involvement in the game. The Buffaloes captain has led them straight into the 22. To captain now, Eric Tolit. On to Jude Rakayanga, a senior Rams veteran. Early break by Jude Kakara, forcing Emma Odong to go himself, and then back to the blind side. Sewankambo, dummy, and then Curry. Breaking tackles past the gain line. Tolit. Isolated. The Rams were the first on that ball, and they've earned the turnover. Brian Wandera on the quick restart, but he needs to do that at the mark.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, he was way off the mark, but how good were Rams to get their body positions up on their feet, low over the ball, and to effect that turnover, because this was looking like yet another Buffaloes try. I mean, Buffaloes has played the last 10 minutes with such frenetic energy, and they're finding their runners, getting their big ball carriers in, and then finding that space out wide for their backs to move. And Rams is finding it hard to cope with the speed of the game. The scramble defense, which was so effective in the beginning minutes of the game, seems to have deserted Rams at this point in time. Rams a breather now, and they opted for a kick to touch. So they still have a line out in the 22, very odd decision, or a poor kick. And so Rams still under pressure here. They must secure this line out and get that ball out of their 22 and into Buffalo's territory.
They make a mess of that line out, and it lands in the hands of Joseph Teko. And then now Jimmy Katumba tip on to Solomon Agani. Should be the other way around. The small man passing to the big man, and Solomon Agani has lost that ball at the breakdown. But James Biaranga is saying the Rams need to be onside at all times.
I told you.
We have a break on a medical break at the moment as a Rams player receives medical attention. But Buffaloes have won a very kickable penalty. But the way their forwards have set up and the way Daniel Katerega is patrolling with that ball, I highly doubt that they're going to kick for posts. It looks like they might take either a quick tap penalty or they go for. So Solomon Ayampa may not. Oh, he's back on his feet, and it looks like he's going to take further part in this game. So the game is getting back on, and Buffaloes have gone for a scrum option. So they've split the pitch with Kasoto, former Uganda international, on the right, and Wilfred Seguya also positioning himself to the right of the scrum.
Play will resume with the scrum feed for the Buffaloes. It's now at the feet of Douglas Mosoke. And then in his hands, he's looking for that midfield option, carrying straight into Emmanuel Kibirige, and then it's ripped backwards. Very cheeky pass by Katerega to Levis Ochen. Levis Ochen caught way behind where the Buffaloes would love to be. Solomon Aliampa will take credit for that tackle, and Kenneth Obito hitting that rock. And now Odoch Morgan, has he found the ground? Yes, he has. Needs to be released. Turned over by the Buffaloes. It's this time Jude Kakara. High tackle, yeah, I thought that he had been ripped. He had been wrapped around the neck by the captain Eric Tolit in that tackle. That wrap around the shoulders. And the ensuing penalty will be the last piece of action in this first half. The Rams have had enough of the action, and so do the Buffaloes, as they both walk towards their technical benches into the halftime break. Buffaloes lead by 12 points to 5 against the Rams. I've noticed a trend in how the teams get prepared for the second half. The halftime break is 10 minutes, right? But they spend around 5 minutes and then they quickly get back to the pitch and spend the other 5 minutes waiting for the referees. Seen it today here against the Rams. Saw it last weekend at Kings Park with the Pirates and the Impies, and then the other weekend with Impies and the Buffaloes. I would like to understand how the sense of time in the players is it that they are too eager to go, or the coaches are becoming more brief and as concise as possible with their instructions at the break?
Yeah, I mean, once the coach is done talking, the players just want to get right into it. They feel that they've done enough sitting around and they just want to go straight into the game, especially when the game is tight. Then definitely the teams want to get back out there. But when there's a big margin, people are less keen to get back to play.
The Rams, who appear to have been too keen to get underway, have kicked off the second half with 2 errors. Kashim Kabogoza's attempt on the restart not going even 2 meters, but then also that other tackle judged to have been high. Then the fielding on that kick bounces just between Daniel Katerega and Kenneth Obito, giving Buffaloes a very juicy line out at the 5-meter line. Maybe the 5 minutes that they spent standing waiting for the halftime to kick off have had them switch off.
Yeah, there's that. Rams seems a bit cold when starting this half, and they'll be hoping that Buffalo's line out will be just as poor as it was in the first half, so that they will not be able to score any points.
Yep, the line out is not as good as the Buffaloes would have loved to clean in this second half. Kabogoza in the pocket, charged down, and everybody else is onside now. In whose hands is the ball? It is the Rams, and they have the penalty. A much more breathable opportunity to get out of their red zone. Hashim Kabogoza not able to find touch, and now Daniel Katerega on the break to Douglas Musoke. Carrying straight into the midfield, is held up by the Rams. The tactic has been working from minute 1. It's minute 41 and it's still working. Only a miracle will stop the Rams from earning this turnover here. What do you do as the Buffaloes?
As the Buffaloes, you simply have to stop going high into contact. And as I pointed out earlier in the first half, Douglas Musoke has 2 or 3 people paying very keen attention to him. So the minute he gets that ball, 2 of them are on him, and they're not actually going for the tackle. They are going to hold him up. And he's going very high into contact, so it's very easy for them to hold him up. And then the rest of the Rams team just swarms around him, and they just suffocate that ball in there. So Buffaloes need to take contact lower.
Off the bench is Michael Kaliango in the halfback position. He sends it to Hashim Kabogoza, who splits the back 3 of the Buffaloes. Daniel Katerega sending it to Kenneth Okong, who does not make a clean job of that kick receipt. He touched it, so it's going to be a Buffaloes line out despite his attempts for that quick restart.
I think he was being a bit cheeky there, and then it was also to prevent the Buffaloes players from actually getting the ball and taking a quick one. So he was able to waste time by pretending that it was his throw-in. And now the Rams players have lined up for the line-out. But again, the lineouts have been a lottery in this game, so it could go either way. But either way, Buffaloes are in the territory that they want to be. That's in the Rams' half.
Rams appear not to have switched on yet after the break. I would expect them to be looking to cut that 7-point deficit as quickly as they can. Perhaps get their second win this season. All the teams in the league have won a game so far, including the Rhinos, who were the last to get that W on their table. Free kick to the Rams. It will need to be taken at the mark of the 15. Michael Kaliango taps to Jose Anconte. Oh! All the weight landed straight on the man. But that focus on the man needed to have been shifted to the ball, as the Buffaloes have earned that precious turnover for holding on at that breakdown. Jose Anconte sending that all his body weight in what the Ugandan rugby fans have called the Kasementi. And that got some of the fans with a smile on their faces. Correction, in today, Rams are the only team yet to get a win. The latest were the Rhinos the other weekend, so Rams need to cut this 7-point deficit and get some points on the game, perhaps win this one today. Hashim Kabogoza and Michael Kaliango represented Uganda under 20 last year. They combine at 9-10 for Buffaloes in this second half. Levis Ochen, former Uganda Sevens international, for the Buffaloes into the 10-meter territory. It's a low pass but bounces into the hands of Serunjoji Paul. Emmanuel Kibirige has turned it over for the Rams, and he's being held up, but the Buffaloes need to release as he has a knee down. And now another kick for Hashim Kabogoza, splitting the back three. He goes for that 50-22. Has it bounced in touch inside the 22? No, it hasn't. So it's quick line out for the Rams, for the Buffaloes rather. Wilfred Seguya isolated, but his back three partners able to secure that ball. Sewankambo for the first carry and Shape for the exit. Katerega in the pocket. It's a good kick. Not into touch. Play on, says the referees. The fans think he has stepped on the whitewash, on the white chalk, but no, he hasn't. And there goes Jude Kakara, who has been poached at that breakdown by the Buffaloes. The tackles are becoming harder and harder now. Agani. Beautiful offload to Levis Ochen. He has wheels for days. And he offloads to Aita. Michael Kaliango is the first at that breakdown and earns the turnover. What a phase of play from both teams. Kaliango, quick restart. Sidestep, 1-2. And then brought down by Katerega. Turnover by the 15, but was that a high tackle? Yes, it was. No chance to catch a breather from both teams, and certainly no chance for us in the commentary booth to catch a breather either. It's Michael Emojong now. Goes straight into contact. Inside the 22, the Rams have entered. Now Jude Kakara head on with Serun George, the try scorer in the first half. He's been held up, Kakara, and forced back outside the 22. Jude Rakayanga to Jose Anconte. Ripped backwards by Eric Tolit. And then turned over by the Rams. End-to-end stuff from both teams. Twisting and turning. And then a pick and drive solo. He's isolated, but the Rams have the advantage now. Wandera Bryan. I've lost count of the faces here. And now we can catch a breather as the full penalty has been awarded.
Yeah, a much better play by Rams. They've been able to secure the rucks, move that ball to their big ball carrying forwards who've been able to beat the gain line every time. They've been unable to get their backs into the game so that they can try and touch down as they did in the first try that they scored. Here they've opted to go for posts. Hashim Kabugonza has been making some Now it's Michael Kalyango, but then Hashim has been making some good kicks in open play. There's one which found touch brilliantly, but there was very lazy chasing, which enabled Buffaloes to take a quick line out and then get into play. If Rams could have some kickers chasing his kicks, then definitely they're going to put pressure on Buffaloes and possibly get more points on board.
The first opportunity to get points on board in the second half is a mess of a job by Michael Kalyango. That's way below the mark that the youngster has set for himself. The ball does not fly even a meter high, and the Buffaloes can breathe. But the referee appears to have something to say that could perhaps give Kalyango a chance to redeem himself. Buffaloes have been penalized for backchatting. And they go for points again. Yes, backchat it is. You can see the hand signal from Biaruhanga, and the kicking tees back on the playing surface. But then the kicker is going to change. Kalyango choosing not to redeem himself with this attempt. A nod of approval to the new option by Captain Joseph Kana. And that attempt slides just on the inside of the right upright. And the Buffaloes and the Rams have cut the deficit to 4 points. You can see the displeasure in Onen Charles as he sends some instructions and makes his appeal to Solomon Agani. Ryan Juko's attempt brings Rams closer to the Buffaloes. They trail now by 8 points to 12 with about 30 minutes to play in this game. Brian Wandera, very good receipt of that kick and well secured by the Rams. In the pocket to Hashim Kabogoza, slicing it and well fielded by Solomon Agani. Hop step and brought down by Kabogoza. Quick ball by Daniel Katerega to Douglas Musoke. He has men on the outside, puts it to the boot. Well gathered by Kenneth Okong. Root Moja. Kenneth Okong is well known for that. Fourth defender beaten, but looking to dance past Levis Ochen. He's isolated, and Ochen has won that turnover to Seguya, and now Katerega. Long pass out wide. The Buffaloes have the numbers. Agani slips again, but well secured by Sewan Kambo. And now Serun Georgie loses that ball, and the Rams fans are crying for the advantage as Wandera Brian looked to have made the break with no one chasing him, but the call for the handling error had already been made. Play by play, this game is slowly picking up the momentum, and I'm beginning to enjoy it. And the fans are similarly enjoying the way this game has picked up in its tempo.
Yeah, it had a very, very slow start, and it didn't look like it was really going anywhere. There were too many errors by both sides, and it made the contest very boring, you could say. But then now both teams have settled in, and we're seeing some really great rugby coming out. Some good runs, some big hits and carries, and some great footwork by some of the players as well. So this has turned out to be a very entertaining game.
Douglas Musok, Wilfred Seguya rather, is the first over that ball, and he earns the penalty for holding on. Quick restart. Now very good ball handling skills from the Buffaloes. They find Levis Ochen in open space. Head on with Kenneth Okong. Both men stay on their feet. Indeed, it is a battle of the horns, the Rams against the Buffaloes. Big carries from both teams, and equally impressive tackles gathered by Abdul Chiimba, the substitute hooker. Sewan Kambo, very good ball handling. Odoch Morgan. Buffaloes have found the edge. And now Abdul Chiimba, stiff arm from Emmanuel Chivirige. Odoch Morgan. Solomon Agani. He finds his knees and is able to get that breakdown for the Buffaloes. Now into space. Levis Ochen cutting back inside. Seguya. That break is what the Buffaloes were looking for, but it's only just a pseudo gap as Seguya has been arrested by the defense. And now the Buffaloes can reap the benefits of the advantage for the offside.
Yeah, this has been some great play by Buffaloes, retaining possession, patient passes, quick hands, and that consistency and continuity put Rams under pressure, and then they were unable to stay on the back foot and gave away a penalty. This has given Buffaloes the opportunity to kick deeper into the Rams territory. So now they have a line out, and hopefully their line out will be better than it has been before in the game.
Fans are certainly enjoying this one, especially there in the center shot. As you can see, Mr. Zeno Otieno Ora of the Chambogo Warriors, he has expressed intention to run for Vice President Technical on the Uganda Rugby Union Executive Committee once the union goes to the polls later this month. But the Buffaloes now with some space on the outside. Levis Ochen would have loved to receive that ball from his inside man Isaac Egwalu. And the Rams have turned over that possession yet again. Isaac Egwalu, you can see the frustration on Levis Ochen's face and his body expression. He would have loved to have that ball, and once Egwalu carried it into contact, there was only going to be one outcome, and that was held up and turnover for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think Buffaloes have learned by now not to go into contact upright. And Levis Ochen was in a position to receive that ball. He should have received that ball. He's a much stronger ball carrier, and he was basically running at pace. And so that was a big mistake not to let that ball out wide. Rams has been saved by, once again, they are holding up players in the mall. And so they'll have this scrum put in and an opportunity to get into the Buffaloes territory if they can play their patient phases as they've been doing like for the last 10 minutes or so. Patient build up into the 22 and then either win a penalty or they have the opportunity to score 5 points.
Shoot! Shoot! Cut it! Cut it! Hold Kakara! Hold Kakara! Hold Kakara! Kakara! But they should sub you, captain. Come, come! It's okay.
In short there, you could see Hughes player and Uganda Lady Rugby Cranes front row Immaculate Nisima. The Hughes are the female team attached to the Rams, and they just concluded their season on Saturday, finishing in 4th place. But for a tough start the team have had, they were able to get out with a try which she scored, Imi Nisima. Now back underway on the playing field. Daniel Katerega has been letting the ball bounce in front of him a couple of times today, and he collides with Douglas Musoke. Levis Ochen rescues the Buffaloes from that difficult position they find themselves in. Now Seguya backtracking, staying on his feet until the support comes in. He's being held up. Has he put a knee to the floor? Yes, he has. Referee says release tackler. And then I went to space. Solomon Agani. The skinny man has pace and some power. Oh, and what an intercept from Michael Kalyango. Only one man is chasing. He leaves him for dead on the floor. Wilfred Seguya, then that offload, as he had run out of space and options, ends up in a penalty for holding on. But what a carry from Michael Kalyango. And he was smart not to go for the ball. But let's take a look at it again.
Yeah, Kalyango was well positioned. He read that well, intercepted, and then left his covering tackler for dead on his backside. And it was unlucky that Rams ended up being penalized for holding onto the ball. But what great play from the youngster. Reading that pass beautifully, timing his intercept well. He faked the ball carrier, so the ball carrier thought that he was going for the tackle and made the pass, and the rest is history.
Michael Kalyango is one of the hottest steppers in Ugandan rugby. Straight from sevens, and he's still doing the same in the 15s. And then the Rams, as we have seen from minute one, the whole team is in. Hold up the man, win the turnover. Buffaloes, like the Bourbons, have learned nothing and forgot nothing.
It should be they've learned nothing and forgotten everything. Because honestly, how many times have they been held up in this game? You know, they should know by now not to. So again, Rams have the scrum put in. They've struggled a bit in the last couple of scrum downs, but they've been still been able to get that ball out. So let's see what they can do with the ball now.
Buffalo's defense shapes up with Wilfred Seguya in the number 10 possession and Katerega at 15. But that scrum collapsed at the front. Let's get an up close to see how Hosea Kote and Paul Serunjoji will battle at the front of this scrum down. Clean, and the power coming in from the Buffaloes, but it is in the hands of Jude Kakara. Isolated, but the Rams attack is able to secure possession. Hashim Kabogoza decides to go alone. He needs to be released by the Buffaloes defense. One and then one back to the open side. Advantage the Rams have. And yet again, for a high tackle against Eric Tolit, Buffaloes are pointing to the uprights. They're looking to cut that deficit even further to just 1 point. As we get closer to the 1 hour mark here at the graveyard in Makere. Points in the second half, the only points in the second half. Ryan Juko off the kicking tee. It's short and it's wide, and Emma Odong can get that exit kick. Juko now with ball in hand finds Jose Nkonte, the big man, Douglas Musoke, and Douglas Musoke, that attempted steal at the breakdown, has been adjudged for having been an illegal entry from the side. And Juko will have another chance at the uprights, this time much closer, about 35 meters or so from the uprights. Michael Kalyango this time though says, let me have my shot. The youngster has, if it's an accurate hit, but only by distance, but not by accuracy, rather through the uprights. And the Buffaloes survive. Michael Kalyango cutting, and oh, this time losing the ball as it has been ripped out of his hands. Kalyango can't seem to do it once he has been given the opportunity to cut the deficit for the Rams.
Yeah, I feel at that point perhaps it should have been Limbo to take the ball in as opposed to passing it to Kalyango, because there's a lot of traffic there, and Limbo is the heavier ball carrier, and the ball would have been set up, and then Kalyango would have been able to move that ball wide. But Buffaloes now have the ball, and will they choose to run it, or will they kick for territory? Because Rams are putting them under quite a bit of pressure for these last 5 minutes of the game.
Looks like it will be going for territory as Kalyango is in the pocket, and they have the advantage. It's a free play, so illegal scrummaging. They have taken the full penalty. Some communication between the referee and the front row, Emojong, to do better at that scrum. But there should have been an attempt by Daniel Katerega to do better with that kick for touch. Ryan Joko carrying straight into a much heavier and a much stronger Gerard Sewankambo. Hashim Kabogoza in the pocket. He has been kicking well today. He manages to find some grass between Seguya and Katerega. Katerega isolated. Well fielded by Michael Kalyango. The fans are urging him to do some steps, but the better decision is to go for that kick. And let's see who will win this kicking contest. Levis Ochen carrying strong in the midfield. Was that an elbow being used to lead into contact? Kakara slow to get off the floor. Serunjoji Paul to Odonga. Now the backs. Vani Adeboa has a toke on his outside. Adeboa decides to go alone, fends off Okong. He's still going, but he rolls into touch. Adeboa has also played for Uganda under 20. I think there's a number of them in this game today. Could be 4 or 5. In the previous game between the Cobs and the Impis, we had about 13 who have played for the senior national team. In this one, we have about half of that who have played for the under 20 team. Uganda looks to be having some talent coming up in its ranks.
Yeah, it's very promising when you have the age grade players playing for senior clubs, because it shows that at least something in our systems is working right. And it also bodes well for the upcoming players who are currently going to play under 20. Many of them are playing in the reserve leagues or in the championship teams. And so these under 20 players currently playing for the premiership teams are role models to these younger players.
Uganda will be sending an almost fresh team to the Bates Trophy next month in Nairobi, as only 2 of those who played last year are eligible by age to take part in that tournament again. But with some feedback from the management at the team, it appears that even those 2 are not assured of going back, because the talent that is coming in from schools rugby, from the reserve league and the championship is bringing the fire to them. And it will be interesting to see how Uganda perform at that tournament. They finished 6th last year. The goal is to go higher, but they've only had a month, an extra week to prepare this time. The Rams have won their line out, not cleanly, but the goal is to maintain possession. And now Jude Kakara has lost it through his legs. It's now in the hands of Sewankambo. Serunjoji. And now Odoch Morgan. This time he passes to Agani. Agani choosing to carry. Back to the right side. Serunjoji, the Buffaloes are playing in close quarters. Recycling. Odong says Let's continue to the right. Sewankambo. He's been held up and then he wrestles his way to the floor. Odoch Morgan. Twisting and turning and finding the deck. Buffaloes have played to the edge. It's the fourth phase. And then now the forwards can pick and drive. Adeboa. Abdul Chiimba joins there to secure the ball at that rack. He carries for the next phase. Yet again the Rams appear to have found their way under the ball carriers and they force the situation. Maul has been called. And turnover awarded for the Rams. Beautiful defense from the home side here today.
Yeah, that was very, very disciplined by Rams. They ensured they were always on the back foot and then they would rush up on the Buffalo's players to avoid them getting that momentum. And then finally, when they rushed up this time, they were able to hold them up and prevent them from going down on the ground. And then eventually effected a turnover with a scrum put into them. This has been great defense from the Rams, but now we need to see them applying that same efficiency in attack so that they can score some points. They still have an opportunity to win this game. Just one try will do it for them. But we need to see the same patience and same efficiency in attack as we have just seen in this last phase of defense.
Efficiency and patience in attack they'll need to do as they move from their 5-meter territory inside the red zone all the way across the field. Some points on the board. Hashim Kabogoza in the pocket. That's a good kick. Well fielded by Seguya, who has decided to go alone. Just twisting and turning. And the quick ball now. Katerega selling the dummy, but it's not bought by any of the defenders. An attempt to roll away is not successful by the captain, Joseph Kana, which has given the Buffaloes a penalty in very good territory. They opt to go for points. The margin as it stands is 4. They score, but Rams will need a try and a conversion to level matters in this one. Daniel Katerega off the kicking tee and straight through the uprights. Buffaloes are now 7 points ahead of the Rams. It is 15 points to 8 with about 10 minutes left on the clock to play. There's the man, Daniel Katerega. He's made a couple of errors in this game. He has made some correct decisions in this game. But that kick might be the difference that Buffaloes needed to get the win today. Wilfred Seguya off the kicking tee from inside his 22. It bounces in front of Kenneth Okong. And he carries from inside his own 22. Seguya against Okong. And Okong is still going into the 10-meter territory. Now Hashim Kabogos are looking for that space behind the Buffaloes. Backfield. He finds a space. Was that a knock-on? No, it wasn't. Daniel Katerega attacking broken field. Hands go up, making appeals to the referee, but they should stay on the game to effect that turnover. Michael Kalyango now. Dancing past Serun Georgie Paul and brought down or rather nearly brought down by Eric Tolit. The youngster is so slippery through the hands. Jose Anconte, tackler not releasing, or rather not supporting his own body weight. And now Brian Wandera. It's on to the edge. The Buffaloes are defending for their lives here. They've managed to hold up the Rams. It's in the hands of Jude Rakayanga. Tackled by Solomon Agani. Advantage. There's numbers on the outside. Wandera should have sent it out as a free play for the Rams. And it goes begging. They're going for that quick restart. Into the 22. Relentless pressure from the horse. And another advantage for not being 10. This time they'll need to take their time. Regan Mungu has that ball in his hands and will be going for that tap and go penalty straight into Paul Sarunjoji, and what a tackle. Or rather Jimmy Katumba. And now Jose Ancote. Out wide to Brian Wandera. There's space and numbers to his left. He doesn't use them. Second time with the ball in his hand. But somehow he has earned a penalty for the Rams. They're playing with advantage, which is not used. The quick restart. Not back. Tackler needs to release. Surely somebody is going to be going to the bin for repeated infringement from the visitors here. Offside twice in the same sequence of play. The Buffaloes are leaving dangerously as the Rams pile pressure. Tap and go again. Not much innovation, just brute force and carrying forward. Brian Wandera. Jose Ancote at the back of it, but it's retrieved by Kalyango. Jose Ancote now. There's space and numbers on the outside. It's going to be try time for the Rams. Was that a high tackle? Is it going to be just a try or a full penalty try? There's consultation between Gonzaga Mayanja and James Biaruhanga. He has only awarded the 5, and the fans have something to cheer about. As Uthman Mukasa brings the Rams to just 2 points away from the Buffaloes. Michael Kalyango has missed easy penalties. This is a tricky conversion, and as we know, kickers, they usually do well when all odds are stacked against them. Oh, it just kissed the uprights. Wow, what a kick. And Eric Tolit, seemingly not aware that it was a conversion, was already on his way to score the other try, but we shall have a restart from the Buffaloes. It's malaria time yet again. 13 points to 15. The Buffaloes lead with under 5 minutes left to play. Odoch Morgan. And that was a high tackle. Wow. Rams have piled on their pressure. And just after scoring, they've given away a penalty which might give the Buffaloes a chance to even extend their lead further. And someone is going to be sent to the bin for that high shot. Rams down to 14 men. As Colin Zisabile will spend the next 10 minutes, which is the rest of the game, in the sin bin. And he will painfully watch Daniel Katerega extend Buffalo's lead in this one.
Yeah, this is a smart decision by Buffaloes to go for the 3 points. It will pretty much wrap up the game for them, because it will be very difficult for Rams to score another try and convert. That was a beautiful, beautiful kick by Kalyango. Just unlucky for it to hit the uprights. Otherwise, this game would be tied at 15-all, and then Rams would have an opportunity to win their first game of the league. Oh, that is pretty amazing. A miss by Daniel Katerega, not expected. So Rams still are in this game.
It's still game on indeed. The Rams are fighting and fighting for their first win of the season. They drew against the Rhinos 3-3 here. They are just 2 points away from the Buffaloes. If they are able to score any score for the Rams, will give them the win. Now Katerega to Agani, he loses it in contact. Kalyango late to arrive at that breakdown. Finds Jude Rakayanga. Jude Rakayanga is held up. The Buffaloes making use of that resilient Rams tactic. Jude Rakayanga, a culprit of his own tactics at the Rams. And it's a turnover. How the table stand?
That is hilarious. Rams have been beaten at their own game. Jude made the mistake of going high into contact, into a pile of Buffalo's players, and they held him up. And what Rams needed to do was build up the phases using their forwards, just patient play, not rushing things. They are well aware the clock is ticking down, but it's only patience that will win them this game. If they can turn over this scrum, then they will be in a position to score the points, because this is still in the Buffaloes territory. But right now it's Buffaloes will ball in hand, and they'll be looking to kick deep into the Rams territory to secure the win for themselves.
The objective is to play from as far away from kicking territory for the Rams. And Odoch Morgan is the first to get an involvement in this one. He stays on his feet in an attempted tackle by Shakur Saka, and he's still going. He offloads to Gerard Sewankambo. What a beautiful carry from Odoch Morgan. Recycled and then lost forward by the Buffaloes, but that was a high tackle in an attempted tackle to bring down a resilient Buffalo in Morgan. Penalty for the high tackle. Daniel Katerega looking for touch, unable to find touch. He finds Ryan Joko rather, and Ryan Joko sends it into the air, well fielded by Agani as he retreats, dancing, and then a long pass. Was that forward? Yes, it was. Not necessary from Solomon Agani. And the Buffaloes are making mistake after mistake. The Rams unable to capitalize on those mistakes to put points on the board like he was at the start. It is going on like that up to the very end.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are just so jittery and making errors, unforced errors, you could say. They seem to have shut down and seem to be playing on autopilot. It will just take 1 or 2 players to calm the team, calm things down, and a moment of magic, in this case for Rams, in order for them to win this game. They have this scrum put in. Can they keep their calm, be patient, and break down this resilient Buffalo's defense?
The man they will need to steer this play is Michael Kalyango, who feeds it straight and out to Jude Kakara. Kalyango now to Emmanuel Kibirige, caught behind the gain line. And then now Joseph Kana, high ball, bounces just behind him. He puts it to the boot, kicking on the back foot. Levis Ochen, well fielded. And then now over Hashim Kabogoza, and then beyond Jude Rakayanga, but that's some good retreating cover defense to send it into the hands of Jose Ancote. Rams in possession. Goes into the pocket of Hashim Kabogoza, looking to split the back three. Kaliango, for the first time in a long time, is able to catch that ball without leaving it to bounce. Wilfred Seguya chooses to carry. He's isolated, caught by Hashim Kabogoza just at the 22. Kabogoza not releasing, so that turnover attempt needs to be halted as soon as possible. There's gaps in the defense. Eric Tolit now. Strong tackle. Katumba carrying beyond the gain line. Tolit playing halfback. Not the best of passes, and Odoch Morgan has lost it forward into the hands of Eric Tolit, who gives away an easy penalty to the Rams. But that was offside, says the referee. Quick restart by Wilfred Seguya. And another penalty. Repeated infringement for the Rams, being caught offside. The game, if anything, has slipped out of the hands of the Rams.
Yeah, Rams has had numerous opportunities to get points on the board, and they failed to take them. And with that penalty and kicking out to touch, Buffaloes takes the 4 points, and Rams secure for themselves 1 bonus point for losing within 7 points.
Tough, disappointing result for the Rams. They came close to getting the win. They had a few penalties that they should have converted, and you can see their frustration for not converting their own points. They are trying to blame the referees, but away from that, you can see the displeasure even within their own ranks. A win that should have been theirs, points that should have been converted. Rams have suffered their 9th consecutive loss in the first round of the Nile Special Rugby Premier League. The Buffaloes come to Makerere a second time. They give away losing bonus point to Makerere side, but the most important thing is that they've got the win. Full time here at the Makerere Graveyard. It is the Buffaloes 15 and the Rams 13.